Okay.
All right, so today we're here with Doug, and this is his Roadmap to Success video. When I got here, one of his guardians recently taught him how to shake, and so now, as a big reminder actually to the guardians, I want to remind you to be using more verbal commands. That will be a huge aid in your process of training him, because that way you can still teach him how to shake, but that's shake. And then give him a treat afterwards, but that'll help him differentiate between learning how to shake and then using that as a way to demand attention, which we don't want to reinforce. So make sure that we're using petting with a purpose by actually not petting him when he's doing attention demanding activities like that, but using the word shake when he's doing that and other behaviors that you do want him to do. So I just want to encourage you to keep labeling different things that you teach him or different activities that you do, such as playing a certain game. Make sure that you're starting to label that with a word. He's a very smart dog and he picks up on things fast, so I think that you'll have a lot of success with this. Let's see, shake. See, we're getting better already. Okay, so some of the exercises I want to make sure that you guys are working on. For the next 2 weeks, I want you to work on the leadership exercise. Remember, that's where you are creating an invisible boundary, and I want you to both work on that once a day for the next 2 weeks. That should, over time, get really fast to the point where you're probably tossing the treat away and he's almost laying down within a couple of seconds. And I would expect that to be fast over time, and that will kind of allow you to know when this is about a good time for it to end. If you do have any regressions in behavior, you can always go back to this exercise. You can also use it, the method behind it of creating an invisible boundary and using the escalating consequences to set boundaries in your home if there's any areas you don't want him going into. So say there's a staircase, you don't want him to go down into the basement, you can teach him an invisible boundary means never crossing that staircase or that threshold. So that's another way that you can use the method from that exercise in an everyday kind of basis. I want to refer you to the video above this one in the write-up for how you're going to help him in situations where you have loose dogs coming towards you and approaching you. And then also when you're outside, eventually working on having him break eye contact with a jogger going by and having him look up to you and saying the word focus, break eye contact, look to you for direction. He looks at you. I want you to make sure you give him lots of treats, because that'll be a big deal for him, especially in the beginning. Over time, what you should see is that a jogger goes by or a dog is approaching, and instead of him looking at them and barking, he's going to be looking at you. So that's how we're going to help him kind of overcome that, and you can go to the video above for the instructions on the specifics of what to do and how to go about that and accomplish it. The other thing that we worked on today was just making sure that we're kind of desensitizing him to different sounds. So you can use counter conditioning by having an audio clip of something that is like a doorbell or other things like that, and giving him treats when he's hearing the doorbell at really low sounds and not barking, and then being able to work on that over time and increasing the sound when he's not barking and giving him treat rewards. Remember to be giving him treats randomly throughout the day. Put a couple of treats in your pocket and call his name. Get him to come over to you, so he's creating a really positive association with hearing his name and coming over to you pretty quickly and immediately and getting a treat reward. That will help you that if he ever were to kind of sneak out of the house, that you're able to call him and have him come back to you, because every time he hears his name, he's always getting a treat. The reason why I want you to have something kind of like a cracker or like a biscuit is so you can have it in your pocket, and he does not always know when you're about to do this. I want you to be able to do this kind of randomly throughout the day. And then desensitize him to things that get him really overworked up. So if you walk through the door and he's jumping up or he's doing something, don't make eye contact and kind of ignore him at that moment. If he's too worked up, walk right back through the door and go outside. So he starts to learn that doing that type of thing is not going to get him what he wants. You can do the same thing for the leash. Randomly walk over, pick up his leash and set it back down. So he starts learning to not get overly worked up and too anxious when these types of things happen. All right. Remember, everything you do trains your dog, only sometimes you mean it.